Hello, my name is James, and I live in the United Kingdom, which has become a feminized, infantilized joke of a country. I don't want it to continue being this way, and I will do whatever I can to make it right again. I don't know how many times I will have to reiterate this message, but I will reiterate it as many times as is necessary and in as many different ways as necessary to get the message across. I don't know how many people will view my videos or acknowledge them, but at least I've said something about it. The country I grew up in, I'm 44, I was born in 1981. The country I grew up in made sense. This feminism sickness was invented so as to undermine countries. Not necessarily even to undermine men, that's the method, but it was designed so as to undermine nations, because men build nations. Women benefit from the nations that men build. If you have a nation and you want to take it over, if you disempower the men and put the women into an artificial condition of responsibility, then you are able to manipulate that nation. Now, one of the strongest things we have in European culture, in fact, no, in every culture, we have an understanding of honor. There's a certain way of doing things that causes the best outcome, and honor is part of that ethos. Now, men have a code that we follow, and I think it's broadly the same in most cultures, if not every culture. You have responsibility, a way of behaving, and women benefit from the outcome of that. Women are usually attracted to a man who exhibits such outward indications that he understands this code. So he will, by his behaviour, engender the respect of other men towards him, which is good for the woman, because a woman needs the cooperation of people in general, that is, other men who are involved with the man that she's with, to make the best of life. So if you create a situation whereby women are artificially put in the position that men naturally should be in, you cause stress to the woman and you cause stress to the man, unnecessarily. A nation functions best when the men who built the nation are in charge, because they carry the responsibility so that the woman doesn't bear that responsibility. If you were to take a woman from, say, 100 years ago, which is only, 1925, or even prior to that, and you were to match her to a woman from the same country today, what would you notice was the difference? I'd say the first thing you'd notice is the discomfort of the woman of today. She is overstressed, overpressured, and she's confused and mixed up. She's a mess. The lady from 100 years previous was being provided for. The society around her would have made sense. She wouldn't have been receiving 10,000 different messages telling her, pulling her in as many different directions, trying to confuse her and undermine her. The lady nowadays likely came from a broken home. The lady from a century before likely had faith in the house. They she likely grew up in a family environment where people were supportive of one another, and the man of the house worked and earned enough money to look after her when she was a child, i.e. he was looking after his wife and his children. Today, women are a mess. They are a complete mess. I want to find a decent wife. The chances of my finding a decent wife among the mess of femininity that's in my country now are pretty... Okay, that's not fair. The women are there, the decent women are there, but they are so confused and messed up and misled that to get in a relationship with a woman would require a good deal of undoing of all of the nonsense that she's been fed by the lying, twisted, poisonous media which is designed to mislead her. A woman nowadays is this fried shell compared to the placid, comfortable woman who is going to be best suited to being in a long-term relationship with someone and best suited to raising a family. I've observed this nonsense carry on since I was a lad. When I was a kid, things were just about still together. Now it's a disaster. The fruit of the efforts of the people who tried to destroy and undermine the structure of society is evident. It can be redeemed though, and more men and women that I speak to observe this nonsense and understand that it is time to fix it. Now in the United Kingdom, it's evident that our government has been completely undermined. The people you see who are supposedly the figures in charge are not in charge. They are merely actors put in place by influence from outside. Financial influence. If they step out of line, out they go. So they don't have any power. They can't say anything, they can't do anything, they can't fix anything, because the moment they try to do anything other than what they're told, they're gone. And that's in either party. So our democratic system is defunct. It's ruined. Our country is being run by an authority, shall we say, which is behind a curtain. That's a fact. That's a simple fact. You can see it everywhere you go. None of the decisions which are being taken in government are on behalf of the British public or people. They are all at the behest of people who are trying to form a one world government behind the scenes. That is absolutely certain. It's beyond question. The evidence is all around you. You can't get anything you want done. It's a mess. That's intentional. And the demoralization people feel is intentional too. They have been told, don't trust your government for so long. They blame the government. The government are just the people in front. They're the fall guys. They're the people who are put there as a show whilst the real dealings are done behind the scenes. Now this is a very serious problem. If you can't see who's in charge, then who's accountable? How do you approach them? How do you get things rectified? The people who are really running this country and other countries besides are hiding. The people who the system we see is nothing. It's a superficial system that provides the effects that the people who are really running things want to happen. It's not the elite. All right? It's a specific group. Right? I know who they are. But the moment you mention it, you get canned. So I can't mention it. But for those who have the intelligence to figure it out, they'll also figure it out. And there's nothing weird or wonderful about it. It's very clear. All you have to do is do a modicum of research and you'll understand exactly what's happened. This happened a little bit earlier in the United States. Now we in Britain, we are not a subsidiary of the United States. The United States is a subsidiary of us. Okay? That's how it is. They don't speak Americanese, they speak English. The reason they speak English is because it used to be British America. The point is that our culture is the parent culture. The United States has bloomed into something else, but the original culture was British, was English. We have a responsibility in this world. Our culture has been exported around the world. What we don't need is a people who have hijacked our nation to try to produce an end that they want. What we need is our nation under our control. At the moment we have a political party in our country called Reform. And we need reform. But even if they get elected, which I hope they do, in the democratic sense, I think that's the best choice we've got. I am concerned about how infiltrated they have been. Because the people who are running these things wouldn't not try to infiltrate such a party. Now, whatever toehold they may get with regards to solving this problem needs to be maximized, or rather it needs to be built upon, but it needs to be also built upon by private citizens. We as the British people need to and we must work together. That means we must organize ourselves to have a massive influence in our country. I don't believe the answer is marching. That's fine to make a point, but it doesn't solve the problem. The problem will be solved through organization. An organisation relies upon people cooperating with each other. Now there's a lot of emphasis trying to divide people and distract them. There's all this media all over the place designed specifically to capture your attention and lead you off into wherever. But you've got to understand that if you don't take responsibility for your country, which we can, it will be taken away from you. And that's what we see at the moment. There are numerous things in place which are creeping to try to take away your freedoms and control you. We can't allow that in our country. We must fight it. Absolutely. But we have to have a better agenda than those who would try to merely control because they're afraid. They're afraid of us, which they ought to be, because this is our country, not theirs. If you are loyal to this country, then it's yours. You belong here, it's yours. But there is a price. You have to be committed, you have to be involved. You are responsible for your country. The more you are distracted and going off and doing all sorts of weird and wonderful selfish things, the less your country will be as you want it to be. You have to be involved. You have to commit a certain amount of your time to your country. You are told, don't worry, someone else will handle it. And people have gone, okay, fine, and this is the result. We have taken our hands off the steering wheel and someone else has crept in and taken it. All we need to do is lift their hands off the wheel and take control ourselves. But that requires responsibility and effort. We've got a very big problem at the moment. The problem's bigger than you think it is because it's being hidden as much as possible. You can see it, but it's worse than you think. But knowing that, we now need to act. Now doing whatever you need to do, start to get involved. Start to talk to other people. Make friends. Make acquaintances. Start to build connections. Build your network so that you can talk to other English people who understand this problem and we can sort this country out. I hope that Reform, when they get involved, will help too. But this also revolves around private citizens doing what they must do. We have to be responsible for our country. So start to make those contacts. Start to be involved in whatever capacity you see fit. Start thinking about your country, thinking about how you want it to be, how it used to be, how it should be, and let's make it happen.